Okay.
We didn't even know you first. You fell asleep. What was the last year that
I drove halfway to the Outer Banks and I messaged Shannon. I'm like, hey, I lost reception. Is it? Because I didn't see it shared anywhere. And she's like, it's still going on. I was like, oh,
Thank you very much. Oh, okay. All right. So welcome to the August staff meeting. If you watch this recording, I won't be really on it, but that's okay. While you wait, if you wanted to post it, I was supposed to put this up there. If you did bother writing it, what comes to mind when you think of a classroom management struggle? So struggles you have in your classroom, whatever age groups you work with, something managing the classroom that comes to mind that can be very frustrating. You're having a hard time working on it. Could be with a particular child, a group of children, an everyday occurrence, or it happens once in a blue moon. If you want to write it while I'm talking, you are welcome to do that. The August newsletter came out a little while ago. Beginning of August, it talked about first day jitters of the first day of school, how parents can now make payments directly on the ProCare app, little reminders for them and events this month, as well as the water day checklist. I spoiled the surprise, but we're going to keep going. Okay, super staff member of the month of July. So remember, we're always a month behind. And our super staff member is supportive of new staff members and guides them to success. She takes on challenges each morning with professionalism and grace, has grown tremendously as an early childhood educator. I wrote that twice, sorry. And now administrator. Positive outlook when handling conflict and difficulties at work. And joining me in the new adventure at Holly Ridge Quality, that's Miss Barbie. So yay, Miss Barbie. So she is completing her admin classes still, but she's going to be joining me in Holly Ridge. She'll be there from morning to afternoon at 3:30. And then a woman who works there, Sharon, who couldn't join us today, is going to be closing that building. And we'll get into that in a second. So welcome to Sneedsbury Quality. Ms. Ruby helped me with this because we have had a wonderful influx of new staff members and teachers. Some have yet to join us. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget anybody. If I do forget someone, please forgive me. Miss Chloe, you've seen her. She's off this week, but she's a flex teacher trying to decide where she fits best. Laura has joined us. Laura's here. There she is. She's going to be working in either room 6 or 8. We're still working on classrooms because Joyce is getting numbers of students. So if you hear me talk about room 8 and room 6, those are still up in the air, whether they're going to be older 3s and 4s and then 4s or just 3s and just 4s. So unfortunately, a lot of parents haven't gotten back to us. Miss Nicole is a co-teacher. She's going to be working in one of our preschool classrooms. She's still filling things out as well. Miss Tanisha just joined us, and she'll be working in one of our 3-year-old preschool classrooms. There's Miss Tanisha back there. Hey. Miss Donna will be joining us, I believe, next week. She's going to be working with school age, and she loves toddlers, so she's going to be joining toddlers. Miss Heather is a flex teacher. No. Oh, she's off today. Amanda, right there. She just joined us. She's a flex teacher, but we'll find her a comfortable spot and then maybe become a co-teacher. Miss Dawn is going to be working with older toddlers co-teacher. She is actually Courtney's mama, so she'll be joining us. Macy will be joining us as a flex teacher. I don't think she came today. And Kayla is we're just gonna switch to Kayla for Kayla in school age, and she'll also be a flex teacher. So Holly Ridge Quality, the staffing who I just showed you here, if we find that they might be a better fit for Holly Ridge, it's just 10 minutes down the road and they'll join us. Some staff members are working there sometimes and some are working here sometimes. So we're going to try what's a good fit because we haven't really done this before. You literally walk from one building to the other here and there's great flexibility, where Holly Ridge Quality, you got to drive a few minutes. So I don't want to put anybody out. I don't want to make you have to drive during your working hours. So we're going to try to figure out what works best. There's this whole Excel sheet that we're all working on to organize staff. Miss Sarah is going to be our preschool teacher in that building. Miss Sarah, I just saw her. There she is. Hi, Miss Sarah. She's going to be working with our 4s, and she'll have the largest classroom in Holly Ridge Quality with a co-teacher. Miss Corey is going to be a preschool teacher of the 3s classroom. Miss Sharon is the one I was speaking about earlier. She'll do from 3 to 6 in the afternoon and then take over the office duties that when Barbie leaves. And that's what we have so far. Now, there are some teachers who have been here who may be asked to join Holly Ridge and see how it goes. There's always the opportunity to go back and forth. We just want to make sure that we have consistency for the students and the families. We don't want to say, this is your child's new teacher, and then a week later, it's somebody else. So we really want to make sure that you find a good fit, that you're comfortable, and then we can move forward and have a great school year. Reminders, these I put every time. I know you're tired of me saying them, but lesson plans should be signed and approved and posted before Monday morning. If you're sick Monday morning, you don't have to worry that your lesson plan's not up. If state rolls in, which Kim Shari loves to do on Monday at 9 a.m., she'll know that your lesson plan's up, it's current, make sure the dates are right, and then you're in the safe. Menus and schedules should be posted before Monday mornings as well. I believe the menu, I'll print it today. So it'll be in your cubbies this afternoon. If you don't get to it, that's fine. Monday morning, just make sure it goes up when you come in, when you check your mailbox. Your schedules are consistent. If you do seasonal schedules, that's when you're changing them up. If you decide that, oh, I'd rather do whole group and free choice at this time, just make sure that it represents what you're doing in the classroom. Whiteboard should always be up to date, class list taped to the back for reference. You're about to have some new students, especially if you're getting those preschoolers moving in large groups. So when you get your meal program form, you're going to make a copy of it and cut that little bad boy out and put them on the back of your whiteboard. That way, if someone's in your room who is not you, they know last names and how to spell them. Radio for administration when you're over ratio, please don't yell down the hallway, hey, Shannon, I'm over. That doesn't help. It looks real bad. If you say admin to room, whatever, I will hustle as fast as I can and we will solve it ASAP. There is very rare occasion when we cannot put someone in your space. And that's when, that stinks, but that's very rare. Check and empty your mailboxes daily. People have been much better about this, so thank you. Supply list should be turned in Wednesday each week prior to when you're going to implement the lesson. So if you know you want something and Shannon has to order it, it probably won't get there by Monday. So you want to tell me way ahead of time. 2 weeks is ideal because, shipping times are very sticky right now. Reimbursements must be approved prior. So don't go out and buy these beautiful things for your room and then I already had them in the shed. Or another classroom already had them to share for that theme and they will let you borrow them or use them for their class. So just please make sure you ask us and then I might find something cheaper online and be able to get it for you. The kitchen is just like entering a classroom. Please make sure you wash hands before you touch anything in the kitchen space. So if you're going to go grab your lunch, you do have to go wash your hands at the hand washing sink, open the fridge, grab your stuff and go. It's just something that has to become routine. And if you're going to the supply area, you obviously don't have to wash your hands because
we'll be getting a kitchen, refrigerator for the she shed within the next week or two.
Yes.
So once we do that, you can put your lunch in there and you don't have to go into the kitchen.
Yeah. It's a full size one too from Joyce's mom. So it'll fit all your stuff.
Up in there so you don't have to have as much stuff.
A very luxurious faculty lounge. Entering a classroom to help, great. Otherwise, please don't disrupt the teachers while they are working and supervising students. I know a lot of you are very friendly outside of school, which is fantastic. We encourage you to at least remain professional in the building, but some of you have built great relationships. You go say hi to your friends, that's fantastic. But the more time you spend in there, the less supervision they have of their own students. So just keep that in mind. Outdoor supervision. I heard a radio call about individuals who are talking over the fence to each other rather than supervising their students. Ms. Ruby made it a very friendly call, but next time it won't be so friendly. So please make sure, at least for me, so please make sure you are supervising. You're in a great station where you can visually see your students and you are ensuring their safety. And then if you want to talk to a friend, you can yell at them like they're behind you and you back to back, whatever you want to do, but you have to be watching your kids. Your clock in time, please make sure you avoid clocking in more than 5 minutes before your scheduled start. Sometimes those 5 minutes, if it becomes you're clocking in 15 minutes early, those add up to become over an hour of overtime. And Joyce is like, we didn't ask them to do overtime. Did you ask them to do overtime? And it's very confusing and we don't want to underpay you or then if we didn't ask you, it's very confusing. So in the schedule, we typically write if we asked you to stay over or you had to stay over a half hour, and then Joyce knows when she looks at the schedule that was implemented. If for some reason that wasn't written down and you don't see it reflected in your check, come see us. Hey, you asked me to stay or I couldn't leave till 4:30, and we'll get down to the bottom of it and make sure that you're paid accordingly. Trash and clutter. We made a beautiful school now. The floors are gorgeous. The walls, right now have no stings, scratches. Might happen soon, but the hallway, partially my fault because we were cleaning things out and that it just is not pretty. Not pretty hallway. People walk in and they see a clutter. So my goal today is to make sure that whatever I can clear out is cleared out. Right after your trainings, you're going to have time to shop in the shed and the hallway on the red cart. If you need that shelving unit, it's going to go to Holly Ridge if you don't need it here. Everything that you don't take today for your classrooms to stock them. Remember, you need rotational items on the top of your shelving units. You need things for your class so that you can rotate things out. Your kids don't get bored. So just keep that in mind. When today ends, those items are going in the trailer and they're going to Holly Ridge. If you need things, that means we have to go to Holly Ridge, grab the thing that you requested and bring it. It's not instantaneous getting it from the shed or the red cart. So please make sure you are shopping today. You are ensuring that you have rotational tools and items and materials, and then the hallway will be beautiful again. When we have the trash bags in the hallway, that looks horrendous. And we ask that you put it next to the door in the interior of your room. And when you go out to lunch, you take it out with you, or when you have someone has the next break. If you know you're not going to be leaving your room for hours because you had the last lunch and then the trash was done, just call admin and someone will grab it out and take it to the dumpster. But leaving them in the hallway, it's stinky, it's gross, and it's not pretty. And our school's pretty.
Also, please remember, there's been a lot of garbage left in rooms at the end of the day. Susan is not supposed to be taking out the garbage. So please make sure whoever the last person is in the room and is cleaning out the room, you take the garbage out with you.
Yes.
Also, one more thing that I've seen is there's staples. Some people are hanging things up in their room with staples. We are not allowed to use staples. Staples, thumbtacks, we cannot use that in the classrooms.
Well, it can't be within the lower than 5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, can't be lower than 5 feet. So if you're doing your bulletin boards, they just have to be high enough where the staples and the little pins aren't within the 5 feet down. What else? That reminded me of something. Oh, the playgrounds. Some of these playgrounds are beautiful when I come in the morning. Some of them have residual trash, and then the wind blows or that little coyote comes back, and then we see trash everywhere. So if you are able to, remind the closers, whoever's in your room, double check the garbage before they leave the playground. These afternoons, you probably haven't been able to play that much outside, so it's residual from the mornings. So every time you go out, you're taking a trash bag in your emergency bag out. You put it in the can, you take it back in, and you put it in your classroom trash bin. That way it's clean, it's rotating, and it's clean every time. If you want to take a handful of trash bags and stick them in your emergency bag, your outdoor bag, then you're bringing them out every time, and you're ensured to be able to replenish and make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, you've seen these. This is the teacher checklist. For those of you who are new, this is the end of the day cleaning checklist. It spells out what's expected to be done in the classrooms. There are little things that the lead teachers and co-teachers should be taking care of because they know it needs to be done. You can't read minds if you're a closer and you go into a room and you're just looking at this checklist. So if it's something that you know, oh, I need baby wipes. They wouldn't know where the baby wipes are kept or that they would need to go grab them. So whoever's the co-teacher or the lead teacher will go grab them. And if it's active rest and you're in a classroom where you can cover each other, go grab what you need for the afternoon. Trainings must get done. This is on every single one. Finish your contact hours and coursework. These are all live links. So if you need to get to ED 119 and you want to take it at Stanley, that's your link. If you want to sign up for the Teach Scholarship, that's your link. All health and safety trainings, that takes you to the Moodle. You need to register for the 2022 Moodle. And if it gives you a hard time, please come see Ruby or myself. Recognizing and responding to child maltreatment, that's the first 90 days. You must get that done. Or we say 6 weeks, but fire safety, that must be completed. There's a one on demand. Karen Darby is not the most entertaining trainer, but she is on demand. So you can be in your PJs and watch at home. SIDS courses have to be in person now. That from what I've seen, you may find a miracle course that's online like Ruby has. And then with that class, you're able to work in the infants rooms. We ask that everybody take it so that there's never a, oh, do they have SIDS or don't have SIDS? And it gives you better understanding of what's expected in those classrooms. NC-FEL is required for every employee. So whether you are a teacher in a classroom or a flex teacher, it doesn't matter. It's best that you take it. It's required in the first year and then you never have to take it again. And that's also on demand, so you can be in your PJs. And CPR is with Ruby or Shannon. Before your 90th day, Ruby always schedules them out, so you just have to see her schedule, her flyers, and she will most likely track you down and let you know you need to take it. Okay, so this is all for ITers and ECHRs. These are tips for all teachers. We went over this last time, but I included it here because we're getting closer to it. I'm going to tell you about the window and some exciting news about the assessment. So I'm just going to leave this here while I talk about it. The assessment window is from August 6th to August 6th, September 6th to September 29th. I blacked out, meaning they will not come on the week we have photos. So picture day week is the week of the 12th. We will not have them come because picture week is a chaotic week and that would be terrible if they came. So those 5 days are blacked out. They do not come. So any other day from the 6th to the 29th, an assessor can come in, 1 or 2 of them, and they will choose classrooms. They're going to pick ECHRs and ITers classrooms, and they're going to do 2 ECHRs and 1 ITers class. I'm going to have Barbie come back for So when you're being assessed, it's very easy to get nervous and worked up. But in the end, if you've always been doing what you know is right, and you've always been following what these trainings that we put you through provide, you're fine. You're fine. You just take a deep breath and do what you do best every day. The big things to remember are interactions with kids, sanitation, which is very difficult to remember, but do your best. And then making sure that you and your co-teacher are going through your schedule. Okay, you're just keeping up with what you do every day. If you go into next week and you say, oh man, our schedule really doesn't reflect what we do every day, then we probably need to rewrite your schedule because the assessor is going to look at that schedule and say, they're supposed to be outdoor play right now, but they're still doing something else. Remember, your free choice is a large portion of the day. So you're making sure that you have that time. Doesn't mean that you're standing there and kids are going to all the centers. You're working with a small group at a center while other children are rotating through their center choices. So if you have yet to really practice that in an ECHRS classroom, I encourage you to work with your co-teachers to do that and work out a game plan. What's teacher A? What's teacher B? What's teacher C doing if you're lucky to have a teacher C in your room at that time? And then you can work it out and get your kids accustomed to the schedule. Because when your children reflect that they know what they're doing, the assessment goes so much better. You throw something new in that day when the assessor shows up, just plan for chaos. So do what you do every day, making sure that you go through those ECHRS tips. I put videos in here, all kinds of things. Articles are accessible through NCR Lab. So you can be very knowledgeable, but you do have to take the time to watch and read. So during active rest, if you just do one thing a day, you'll be very prepared by September 6th. Does anyone have questions about assessment? No? Okay, we beat it to death now, but I just want to make sure that if you do, you know to come to us.
So I'm looking at the first one. It says room 3 can play with room 4. If it's not water day.
We won't have water day anymore.
Okay, room 4 goes out there.
Yes, but room 3, now that they made it an ECHRS classroom, has to go in a playground that's appropriate. So starting next week, they're going to go to that playground when they go outside, which is also at 9 o'clock.
How many kids can fit on that?
So we can fit 44 kids out there. And then you just say they're in 2 different groups, which they are. All your teachers are supervising, and we need to just get them accustomed to it. So with TT and Emily, we're going to take slow, gradual process because that playground structure is a big playground structure. It's meant for 2.5 and up, but 2.5-year-olds can easily do something that's not appropriate. So if you want to do it where you take half in and half out, and I'll talk to you guys more about this next week, but then you just get them accustomed to the rules of what the playground's all about. Now, if that's too much of a playground, you can go out to the 3-year-old playground. Okay, so that's a little more on the manageable scale for 2.5-year-olds, but they are an ECHRS class, so it's a little different for you guys. They're little ECHRS babies. So this is a video you are welcome to watch. Another one about ECHRS tips. She has a whole bunch of videos, so she'll show you how her centers are set up and what she does in her rotations for them. This is about blocks. There's always some questions about how many blocks is enough blocks? How many kinds of blocks do we need? What's a substantial structure? Who should go into blocks? So that's for you there. And then goals for today in your co-teaching teams. Miss Ruby typed this up for me, so thank you. This is after Miss Chantel does her trainings with you guys, and you are not scheduled to leave at 3. So if you choose to stay and you are a 3 o'clock or a 4 o'clock person, just come see us and we'll work something out so that you have that opportunity to plan with your co-teachers, but we don't want to make you stay past your clocked hours. So I understand, like Miss Bonito is supposed to leave at 2, she doesn't take a lunch, and Miss Barbie's supposed to leave because this was your lunch, right? But it was a working lunch. So brainstorm how you would put into action what you learned today. So after your training in a little bit, just start thinking about how you're going to implement what you're being taught in your classroom. Access the creative curriculum, conscious discipline, and Twinkle. They're all paid for by us. So you have free membership to these resources. They are great for lesson planning, great for your social emotional learning with your children, and Twinkle has printable free resources. So if you wanted those center tags around everywhere, Twinkle has them. If you want initial letters to parents and that's a template, Twinkle has it. The username and password are the same. I try to keep it consistent. Sit with your new teaching team and discuss what your goals are, tour the classrooms, and share ideas. So if you're in the 3-year-old classrooms, you're going to go check out each other's classrooms. We called them learning walks when I was a teacher and a coordinator, and you went around and you looked at, hey, I love that idea, or I would do that slightly differently, but I'm going to take that back with me to my room, so I'm ready for when we start. Or how do you do this in your classroom? And they can take you around on a learning walk. If you want to see the older or younger classroom sandwiching your age group, that's also a great opportunity to explore those classrooms and say, oh, so they should be ready to do this when they come to your room, or this is where they're coming from. Because a lot of assumptions come in when you are getting someone's students and you're assuming that they should all be here. But in actuality, it's very difficult for some of them to get there. And if you speak with the teacher before, you'll understand why. And it's a great opportunity to talk to them. Ensure all your centers are labeled. If you need labels, then just let us know. Ruby has them where they're bilingual labels, and they also have the images. I know Raquel just made a bunch of labels as well for her 3-year-old classroom, and you can use those if they match what items you have in your classroom. Students center tags. So like I was just saying, Twinkle has them. You just have to print them and post them up. There's a variety of different choices. And then if you're in an Eckers class, your kids are choosing their centers. You can do the little Velcro circles and the little popsicle sticks around. If you want to make them cardstock little faces, you print their face and they go put their face around the room. However, you're going to organize your classroom to ensure, we already have 4 friends in blocks. What can you do now? And you're teaching them on what they should do in their problem solving and decision making in the classroom. So to have that the first week on the 29th, you're all set. You just need to take your time and implement one thing at a time. And then lesson plans, please make sure that your first week, you are really giving those first 3 weeks some good thought, because you want to be able to have your children gradually integrate into independence. How are you going to do that? Even for the itty bitties and the toddlers, if you are starting with a new student, and yours is always staggered, right? With toddlers, they don't always just come at once, full classes. But with every new child, what are you going to do with that child to ensure they know what the expectations are? Even as a toddler, we wash our hands after we eat. How are you going to do that? You can look at your teacher A and teacher B charts, teacher C sometimes, but what's expected of each individual? If you're changing all these diapers, what's teacher B expected to be doing? What's teacher C expected to be doing? And you just pop it up on one of your walls on the back of the closet so you have it as a reference. And if someone new comes in your room, there are no questions about what they should do next. Say, oh, I got the chart on the closet. Will you go take a look? Because I have to do this. Or we're at this section now, and you're teacher B. We're at this section now, you're teacher A. So your classroom should speak for itself. That's why the labels are so important. And that's why it's the second or third teacher. And it's very important to make sure that you are taking the time to ensure that is happening so you're less stressed. So if you need help, come see Ruby or myself for that, and we'd be happy to help you. Okay, so if you are a flex teacher and you would like all your hours, these are your goals for today, and you just let us know which one you want to do. If you would want to leave early and you're a flex teacher, just come see an administrator and we'll let you go early or ask you to do one thing and then say see ya. So check the playgrounds, please. It's raining, so obviously you can just look outside the window or skip that one. But we're looking for broken toys, extremely faded toys. It's North Carolina sun, so they're not going to look pretty forever. But if they're cracked, we want to get rid of them. If you notice that there's a ton of trash on a playground or something's in disarray, just if you can't address it now, but I know it's raining, or we'll try to do it next week. Organize a supply closet. I know some of you just love to be neat and tidy, so maybe that's the job for you. I really would like to have labels on things because there are bins in there and they just don't correlate with what's in it, and there's a hodgepodge of stuff, especially because that red card has to be cleared off. So now all those things are going back in the supply closet. Remove and organize that red shelving unit. So those things that we know are materials will go into the supply room, and then I will bring those other things to Holly Ridge. Put the shelving unit from room 10 in the trailer, so some of us will need to He-Man that in there. Any materials the teachers do not claim go to Holly Ridge storage. Scrub tables and chairs with the magic eraser and green scrubbies. So if you notice under the tables, the sides of the chairs, especially in the little rooms, they like to touch their chairs when they're full of gross nonsense on their hands. So if you get a green scrubby from the kitchen, we'll show you where they are. We just need to cut one in half and you scrub up those chairs and they're going to look beautiful. Thank you for doing that ahead of time. Check the outdoor bags. There's the checklist that Ruby has. So you just make sure that they are well stocked, and we'll give you a classroom list and we check to make sure all those emergency cards are accurate. And then please help your fellow teachers. If you work very much in one room, you spend a lot of time in one particular room, you're their flex teacher, you are welcome to help them and help label and organize the room and get things ready. Okay, so we put this on every time. We have an open door policy. Like Joyce always says, if we don't know that there's a problem, we can't help you to resolve it. So as little or big, whatever it is, come see us. If you want to message us, if you want to just talk to one of us, you want to write an anonymous note, whatever it is, we can't help you if we don't know what the issue or the problem is, and to make it a more comfortable and enjoyable work environment. Positivity is contagious, but so is negativity and that gossip. It will spread like wildfire, and people were thinking different thoughts about the raises and bonuses, and I'm glad somebody finally told me so I could let everyone know with transparency, this is why we can't do it right now. And I'm glad that that person brought that up to me. So anything like that, if you hear a whole bunch of crazy rumors, just come see us and I will happily tell you what's going on. Anybody have questions?
There's one other thing I wanted to say as far as kids moving up goes. This week we only have 2 that will be moving up to new classrooms. Next week we have a ton of kids that will be moving around. We have a ton of kids that will be starting. I'm putting together a list, so you all will have a list of the children that you will have. Please do not tell parents before they get slips from us that they are 2nd, 3rd, 4th in line to move up or anything like that, because they think it might mean tomorrow or the next day or a week from then or whatever. Really, I don't know, because if we have all this room stocked full and we don't know when the next child is leaving to be able to move that child. So please just, we always do it on a Monday. I've been sending out messages to everybody with a list of kids that are moving up so that everybody knows in advance. You can do your labels and all that kind of thing. Please be aware that there are times when that changes. First of all, we don't know all the kids that are going to NC preschool yet. That changes things as to who we're putting in what rooms and like that. Sometimes we have kids that are lined up to start and then they wind up not showing up, or they wind up calling and saying, can I change the date? I'm going to start next week or in 2 weeks instead. So we have no control over those things, but we have to have a plan in order to be able to get ourselves set up in order for everybody to have as much information as we can have. So just know that it might be subject to change, but this is what we're doing according to the information we have now. We always do it on a Monday. So please let the parents know that and try and make that transition as smooth as possible. I just don't like when parents, think it's one day and they go and drop them off in one room and then they come back and they're in the other room. Well, I thought they were starting in that room. It makes it seem like we don't know what we're doing. So we want to make sure that everybody is on the same page and the parents are being given accurate information and the kids are where they're supposed to be. I will be working on those lists and I'll give out everybody those lists. Just so that you are aware, room 6 will now be a half-day program with wraparound kids. Room 8 will be older 3 to 4 year olds. So there'll be a lot of kids that'll be moving around. I'll get that out as soon as I possibly can to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, and half day, I don't know if you're curious, it's gonna be from 9 to 1:30. Those students won't be napping here. So half day students won't be napping, and then we'll have the transition to the wraparound right after that. So just in case, it's a little different than last year. So that's how Holly Ridge will be run as well. All right. If you have questions, you can always ask us later on. We're gonna be around. We're just gonna get ready for the training from Martin Pitt. And if you'd like to go help yourself to some more food, please go do that. Take a bathroom break, whatever you want to do.